Okay, we are going to get started with August Club Q, and this one is called Sundrenched Days, which I hope you have all enjoyed a few of those during the summer, and you end up with the perfect pictures for this kit. So on this one we suggest Desert Sun, Emerald Forest, and Baja Blue for your powder puff chalking inks, but as you probably well know, we have lots of different blues. So there's like Montego Bay, even sky blue would work on this one. If you want to do a little more green, you could use jade or emerald forest for like a darker green. Anyway, there's lots to choose from. So you choose the yellows and the blues and the greens that you want to use. And we are going to get started with the cutting diagrams. I'm going to lay this right next to here and put out my cutter. We will start with the 5 3/4 by 12 white piece of paper. So you have a few white pieces of paper, but you want the largest one, and we'll do that one first. So we need to cut at 3 3/4. And if I get going too fast, just hit pause, get caught up, and then move it down. We're going to get another 3 3/4 here. And then the last one we will do. So there's 3 3/4. The last one, we need a 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So we'll do a square. And this is just scrap, so you can get rid of that. 3 3/4. So you have a square here. The next one is the large teal 12 by 12. And the piece I'm going to cut off first is this 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to cut at 5 1/4 and cut this piece off. So 5 1/4 all the way down, and then I'm going to turn that and do it at 3 1/4. So 3 1/4. 3 1/4, and 3 1/4. And chalk these up as you go. This is extra, get rid of it. If you want to chalk the edges as you go, I have Weeping Willow here, so I'm using kind of a olive green. Okay, so we are going to do a 4 by 6. So I'm going to cut this at 6 inches. A lot of times sometimes I chalk it as I go at each piece, or I get it on the page and decide what colors I want from there. So it's totally up to you. If you want to chalk as you go, you can. If you want to lay your page out and then decide, that works too. So this is going to be at 4 inches. So you have your 4 by 6. And then you need a 5 by 7 out of this one. So we'll put this into 7. And turn it to 5. And these are scraps. And then you have your 5 by 7. And the next cut will be, let's see where I'm at here, the 5 by 9 white. So here's your 5 by 9. Yeah, 5 by 9 white. And it needs to be cut into 3 3 by 5s. So we just want to go into 3 inches, move it down to 3 inches, and then you have your 3 3x5s. The next one is, we did the cutting diagram on the next one, so the rest I believe are already cut for you. You have a white, I think this is a 5x7, you have a 4x6, and then your other pieces are punched out of your die cut. And I think that's all for trimming. So I'm going to get this out of the way. The only other thing would be to trim out your embellishments. And I'm just going to do this one. I've cut all the other ones out, but this one I'm just going to go around the scallop. And with the scallop, it doesn't have to be perfect. When it kind of gets on the page, it gets a little bit, the edges get a little bit lost anyway in the other colors. So if you can't get those scallops just perfect, it's totally fine. I'm just going around quickly. And I'm probably going to ink the edges of these anyway, so it doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to make it look a little messy anyway with chalks. And then I have our big piece cut out, and all of our little pieces here. Okay, so then we're going to just start layering onto the page. So on page 1, we have our background that goes right in the middle. And if you want to chalk up the corners of those, you can. I'm going to use, actually I have Caribbean blue here, which I really love. I'm going to do the edges in Caribbean blue. I tend to do a little more on the corners and then just swipe it down the edge a time or two. And then a little more in the corners and then swipe it down the edge a time or two. All the way around. This is one of my favorite blues. I love the Caribbean blue. And I just feel like it matches so many kits. Okay, so I'm going to get that laid out. That goes right in the center of page 1. I'll do these little corners too. Bring out a little more of the blue. That goes so that there's about maybe a 1/4 of an inch of the white showing on the left side. You have your die cuts that you punched out, and these are all going to, whoops, get a little topper here that goes behind it, and a little brad goes in the center there. So you can glue these behind it. I'm going to chalk these up also. I just like this kind of messy, chalky look there. Do the tops of these. And then your brad goes in the top, and this gets glued right behind it. And then goes on the page just barely down from the top of the white page. And you can get these all kind of centered and lined out before you glue them on so that you know you have them spaced exactly how you want them. And I'm just showing you kind of the basics on how to get it together here. I'm not even gluing mine down right now. This gets tucked in behind. And what I do is I just put a little bit of glue here on the edge, and then that it's glued behind there. And make sure you have those spaced how you want them. And then on top of that is your teal papers that we cut out. And the white goes right over top of that. So just a little bit of the background teal paper shows there. You do that same with all of these. And feel free to chalk these up again. This would be kind of fun to do one blue and then maybe the top and the bottom with yellow. Whatever matches your photos, then you can kind of tailor it to that with whatever color inks. And you basically, once you have your brads in, you basically have this page done. Super simple. And then on page 2, we just start layering up the photo mats so that there's about almost 1/4 of an inch all the way around so that these all match. There is a yellow background for the square. And then I'm just kind of eyeballing it to see where it goes down on the page. Once you get it all lined out, and you know what photos you're going to have in there, then you can definitely just glue it down. And these, it kind of depends on which one you want to cover up a little bit. But I'm going to put it down like this so that I have room for my banner. And then from there, once you have your photos on, you can glue your embellishments right on top of it. And if you need to move these around just a little bit, just to make sure that you have your important parts of your photos showing, like if there's something down here that you don't want to cover up, just go ahead and put it over to the other side. You can kind of arrange it so that it works with your photos. And if there's a word that you're not wanting to use or in a different place, go ahead and switch that up too. I have this one right in the middle. I just realized I didn't cut the end off of that one. We have a hello sunshine up here with the little sunshine tucked behind it. The arrow. A little yellow banner piece that goes behind that just for a little extra color. And then, so this is where you want to see exactly how you want your mats on the page. If you want to move this down, you can. If you want to cover up that top part, you can. I'm going to adjust it just a little bit and move it down. And then you have your 3 buttons for a little extra color up here and dimension. These get tucked in wherever it doesn't cover up your important parts of your photos. And even with your banner here, if you decide you don't want to cover up so much of this, it can be tilted right up the side too. And then whatever words you want to kind of add to it. Oh, I'm sorry, this one goes on this page. Once you have your pictures down, this goes right over the top of your picture. And with these, another little trick that I like to tell people too, these are kind of hard to cut out right on the edge. So if you have a white edge left over like I did, I just go through and I chalk it, and you'll never know that that white edge is even there. Just like that, your page is done. I hope you have the perfect photos to put on it. I hope you enjoyed Club Q this month, and we appreciate you being a member. And we will see you next time.